My name's Adam Scully. I'm the National Sales Manager here at Cadgroup. Been around in the Autodesk industry for way too long. This is my 20th anniversary at an Autodesk reseller, so been around for a little while. And as everybody's well aware, Autodesk are making that transition from their perpetual licenses across to subscription or term-based licensing. So as part of that, they're changing the design suites that many of you may currently already be using across to Industry Collections. So I'm just going to take probably about half an hour. Hopefully I'll be able to wrap this up in half an hour so I don't keep you away from work for too long, just to give you a bit of an overview of what's included in the collections and what capabilities you're going to be available to you with those. Okay. So what we're finding now is that everybody's living in a much more 24/7 mobile multi-device world, and people want access to products and services more readily available and that sort of thing now. So what Autodesk is starting to do is obviously cater to that as we move into the new era of connection. So what's happening is people are also expecting to see continuous updates, and they also want to be able to see when updates are available, find out what's changed, and then decide whether they want to incorporate those changes or not. What we're also finding as well is many of our customers like the pay-as-you-go model, which has less financial risk and allows them to match their software needs with the business cycle. So it reduces that upfront cost, and with it being a rental, has tax benefits in there as well. The other big thing that's driving a lot of this obviously is the rise of the cloud and software as a service. So this is really disrupting the entire industry and the way that software is being created and delivered. So new software companies now are basically offering subscription-only services, and many long-standing companies like Adobe did it probably about 3 years back, and of course now Autodesk are making that shift across to subscription-only. So subscription, whether we like it or not, is going to be the new normal. So with these changes taking place, Autodesk have decided to try to simplify the offerings that they make back through to the customers. So many of you may not be aware, but our current price list from Autodesk has about 12,000 line items in it. So we're actually rubbing our hands with a little bit of glee to try to make that a little bit more simple and a little bit refined, so we don't have so many prices or items in that price list. So what they decided to do is come up with a really convenient and flexible way for customers to access a wide selection of their Autodesk or their software products based around specific industries. So as you can see here, there's going to end up being 3 collections. So those collections are going to be Autodesk Engineering and Construction, or Architecture, Engineering and Construction, Product Design, and Media and Entertainment. Now these are going to be available worldwide as of the 1st of August. So with the industry collections, Autodesk are going to provide greater value to you, our customers, with new flexible and simple ways to manage Autodesk software in the cloud. This also allows you to be competitive as you embark on the future of making things, which is the way that everything's changing and moving forward. So what the industry collections are going to give you is a wide access to the biggest selection of the Autodesk most essential software that you can use in a single collection that will evolve and get better over time. You're going to have continuous access to the latest software releases and enhancements through a new Autodesk desktop app, and more cloud services are going to allow you to access powerful, flexible tools whenever and wherever you need them. We're also going to obviously have flexible term lengths, monthly, quarterly, annual, or multi-year options. And we're also going to be able to have both single user and multi-user access. So the multi-user access is based on exactly the same license management system that we have currently with the perpetual licenses. And as well as currently with your maintenance plan, you're also going to have access to previous version rights and global travel rights as part of the industry collections. So the reason that Autodesk are making these changes is to try to provide you with our customers a superior experience than what you've had previously with the design and creation suites. So from a value point of view, Industry Collections provide you value that will exceed the premium suites at a very competitive price point. You're going to actually have access to a lot more cloud services than previously available during the design or with the design and creation suites. So that way you're going to have the opportunity to leverage the computing power of the cloud. And the other real benefit is currently we don't have the ability to have multi-user subscriptions with the design and creation suite, so we're going to have that capability as we move into the Industry Collections. The Industry Collections are also going to provide instant access to new applications and cloud services. So as new products and everything else, as well as your business needs change, these are going to be updated as well. And the really good thing with the new Autodesk desktop app, that's also going to notify users when updates to any Industry Collection products available. And then you have the control over which updates are rolled out, to whom and to when. Now the other great thing, as I just mentioned before, the subscriptions to the Industry Collections are going to be available in single user and multi-user access, and you have the choice of different terms and lengths. So it gives you greater flexibility. And they've tried to simplify it, as I said before, down into the 3 different collections. So previously there was about 8 different design suites that we could actually offer, so they're bringing that back down to 3. So what you can see now is the 3 Industry Collections with the products that are included in that. So as I mentioned earlier, you're going to have an AEC, a product design or manufacturing collection, and then the media and entertainment suites. So with the AEC Industry Collection, that's going to deliver tightly connected BIM tools and processes for the life cycle of buildings and civil infrastructure. You're simply going to get the products your business needs today and the flexibility to add access to technology that enables you to stay competitive. So as you can see there, many customers that may be running with Building Design Suite Premium are going to find that they're getting a lot more software in these Industry Collections than we previously were with the Building Design Suite. With the Product Design Suite, you're going to get the manufacturing industry essential products that also include obviously additional cloud servicing, cloud service products, and their 360 products to give you more access to many things with your design side of things. And the Media and Entertainment Suite, or collection I should say, provides animators, modelers and visual effects artists all the tools they need to create compelling effects, believable 3D characters and stunning environments. And this is going to work right through for film and TV as well as through to game production and any customers that need to do very high-end renderings for presentations. So I know the question that everyone's been wanting to know is what sort of pricing are we going to get, or what's this going to cost? So at the moment we've been given some estimated pricing from Autodesk, and this can be found at the website that I've listed there at the bottom there, www.autodesk.com/collections. So the AEC collection at the moment looks like it's going to be $4,158 plus GST. The manufacturing collection $3,806, and the media and entertainment one $3,157. Now at the moment this is just estimated pricing. We're going to be getting confirmation of that pricing at the beginning of July when our price lists become available for August moving forward. So at this stage that's just a guide, but I'm pretty confident that that's where it's going to stay. What Autodesk are also going to offer is we're going to have the ability to switch subscriptions from a design or creation suite if you currently have that now, or from an individual subscription across to the Industry Collections. Now that's going to become available in October this year, so we'll probably get a little bit more information on that over the coming months. But basically if you have a premium or an ultimate suite that is currently on subscription, this is going to be able to be switched across to an Industry Collection at no cost for the remainder of the current term of the subscription. For customers that are coming across from either a point product like AutoCAD or a Revit or an Inventor license by itself on subscription, you'll just pay the difference for the remaining term that's going to be calculated at a pro rata rate. For customers that are on quarterly or monthly subscriptions currently, you'll simply be able to subscribe to the collections after those terms expire. So, as I said, we're going to get more details on this as we move forward. One of the most important things to remember here is that we're not going to be able to have the ability to switch from perpetual licenses across to the subscriptions for industry collections. That's not available at this stage, but I'd probably keep an eye on this space, as you'll probably be able to do that moving into the future. So one of the biggest things from the Autodesk side is collections are going to be specific to each industry. You're not going to be required to download the entire collection at one time. The users are going to be able to pick and choose the individual products that they want to download from within the collection. Obviously for that, an internet connection is required for the initial download and activation. For single users with desktop software, they'll need to be able to connect back to the Autodesk server every 30 days after the initial activation. But multi-users using that network license capability will only need the internet to access the initial download. They won't need that after the activation's taken place. Of course, if you need any access to the cloud services and everything else, you're going to need an internet connection for that. The other good thing is you're going to be able to co-term your subscriptions. So if you already have an existing subscription with Autodesk or with us, we'll be able to co-term these new licenses across to that, so they have an aligning their renewal date. We can also align that to the same date as your current maintenance plans as well, if you wanted it all to fall on the same date. So from a cloud point of view, with the industry collection, subscribers have access to more cloud services, so you're going to have more capability for flexible tools like rendering or simulation whenever and wherever you need them. The near infinite computing power of the cloud's a valuable resource for today's always-on user who can finish these time-sensitive tasks in the cloud in minutes instead of hours or days. So I visited a customer earlier this morning who were talking about doing a lot of rendering, and if it's anything that has to be done during daylight hours or working hours, they definitely do that via the cloud just because of performance. One of the real benefits, I guess, of going to the cloud services or industry collections, I should say, with a multi-user, you now get 3 named users to be assigned to that collection with the multi-user access. Previously, with the design suites on maintenance plan or with subscription, you only had 1 user could access that. So what that allows you to do is actually share those cloud services between multiple users. And the other great thing is you're able to add additional users through the Autodesk account, which allows you to manage and add more users as and when you need them. So make sure that you're taking advantage. When you purchase one of these products on subscription, you get 100 starter cloud credits. So make sure you use them to see the power of doing either simulation if you're using the product design collection or the manufacturing one, or if you want to be doing rendering on the cloud. Make sure you use that and you can see the power of what's capable. And you're also able to, within the Autodesk account or your Autodesk account, you're going to be able to track how many cloud credits have been used and how many are still available. So just in summary, as I said, I was going to try to keep it relatively short, so I don't keep you away for too long. So the way that everybody's going now, all things are going, is the disruption from the clouds is changing the way that we need to leverage the software and stay competitive. You know, with everybody needing access to the product 24/7 on multiple devices and everything else, the Autodesk Industry Collections provide the most convenient and flexible way for you to access the most essential Autodesk software in specific industry offers. Now, the great thing about it offers flexibility for your choice of both single user and multi-user access, as well as having multiple lengths for terms of from monthly, quarterly, annual, or multi-years. More cloud services are included in these industry collections, and because we've simplified it down to 3, it makes it far easier for you to make a decision on what you want to do. And The beauty of that obviously is having a lower upfront cost, has many tax benefits as well. Another customer that I visited earlier this morning, they've actually got to the point that they're putting on the software subscription costs and on charging those back through to their customers that they're contracting back to. So it's another way to look at those costs and how you offset them. So some really important dates for everybody to remember is the end of perpetual licenses for design suites is coming up on Friday the 29th of July. So if anybody's looking at extending or adding the number of licenses that they require at the moment and you want to keep a perpetual license, the last date that we're able to provide those and process those orders with Autodesk is the 29th of July. The industry collections are going to become available on the 1st of August, and then if you already have an existing subscription product, you're going to be able to switch that across to the industry collections in October this year. One of the things I really want to make sure everyone's aware and it's understood is that if you have a current perpetual license, while you maintain that license on active maintenance plan, that will remain a perpetual license moving forward. At this stage, Autodesk aren't looking at forcing anyone to transfer across from their maintenance or perpetual licenses across to subscription. So feel safe in the fact that those perpetual licenses are going to remain as they are now while ever you maintain them. If anybody does drop off your maintenance plan, those licenses that are perpetual will continue to run indefinitely while you still have hardware that's capable of running that license at that latest version. So hopefully everybody's got some answers there. I might actually unmute people if you want to put your hand up if you wanted to ask any questions to see if I can answer those for you. Okay, so Tom, you've got a question? Tim, sorry.
On where Advanced Steel fits in?
Okay, so at the moment, Advanced Steel has the ability to have subscriptions on that by itself. So you've got obviously your AutoCAD with Advanced Steel, as well as Advanced Steel to sit on top of existing AutoCAD licenses. At this stage, it hasn't been included in any of the collections, but I'm not sure what the plans are. I think in the future that will come in to one of them. I'm not exactly sure when and what date that's going to happen. But at this stage, it's not included in any of the collections, but they still are available as that individual product on subscription.
Yeah. And what about home use licenses?
Yeah, so that sort of thing. Well, with the industry collections, the home use license, unless it's a multi-user license, isn't as big a deal because it's basically if you log off on one machine, you can log on to the other one, and it's going to deactivate it on the other license because you can only be using it on one PC at a time. So you can install the same license on your home PC and your work PC. If it's a single user license, when you try to open it at home, you're going to have to log into the Autodesk account to access that license, and it won't allow it to be used on two PCs at the same time.
Awesome. And so what about like the network license server that we're using now for perpetual network licenses? Is that going to be deprecated and we'll basically we'll phone back to the Autodesk servers for licensing purposes overall, or is that still going to be
no, so it's going to be, yeah, so it's still the same. So the network licensing manager that we use now, so FlexLM or LM tools, is exactly the same. All it's going to do in your license file is going to add another increment in there that has obviously a timestamp for an end date. So it's going to be utilizing exactly the same licensing management software or capability that perpetual licenses are using now.
Yeah. Is there any word on whether Autodesk is going to update the way they do their licensing just to be more centralized as opposed to deploying local network licensing?
As yet, no, not that we're aware of, but obviously the way everything's changing, I dare say that we'll probably see something on that side changing in the future, but currently it's still going to be a local network license manager on a server. Okay, so one of the other questions I saw here that you had, Tim, was in regards to what do I mean by single user access for suites. So currently if you have subscription for a suite, one of the design suites, we were only able to offer that in a single user mode. We weren't able to offer that in a multi-user or network capable mode for current subscriptions. Perpetual licenses, obviously, we could have that network license capability, but not for licenses that run that subscription or term-based license.
Okay.
Okay, so some of the other questions I've got here. So Holger, cloud credits can be shared now, having multi-users. Yeah, so basically in regards to the cloud credits, they've sort of been changing over the last few years, and we've got to keep up to date all the time with some of those changes that Autodesk have been making. But it was basically you could get one user would have access to those, but you couldn't change that to another user during that period unless you had obviously had an additional seat that you'd actually nominated to that user. So that was one of the big changes here, is with a multi-user we can now have 3 people for each seat or license. Does that answer your question, Holger?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Excellent stuff. Okay. In regards to will this presentation be available for download, I've recorded it. Unfortunately, you're all going to have to listen to my dulcet tones if you wanted to download it. We're going to make that available on our YouTube channel. So once we record that and collate it, we'll put it up on the YouTube channel for further reference down the track if anybody needs that.
So
Sorry, Holger, I missed that.
So there will be an email sending around to the people who attended this presentation? Or
yes, I can definitely do that.
Oh, great, thank you.
That, sure. Okay, so Mark, I've got the question here from you. For those on perpetual licenses, does the access to cloud-based tools change or remain? So as it is now, it's going to remain as it is. Similar to what you've had in the past, once you use those 100 cloud credits that come part of your maintenance plan on products, you can then purchase additional cloud credits as a need basis. I think that they come in packs of 100 basically, but that's definitely possible. And from what I'm aware, for those perpetual licenses, that's going to remain as it is, unchanged moving forward. Okay, so I can't see any more questions come through. Oh, Martin's got one. So Martin, do you want to ask your question? It's just sort of dropped out of my screen. Marty, did you have a question? Okay, looks like no one else has questions, so I'm happy to let you guys all get back to work. As Holger requested, I'll make sure that I record this. Okay, some have just come through. Okay, so I've just had another one come through from Resvin in regards to how can perpetual licenses be upgraded. So if those perpetual licenses are on maintenance plan, you'll actually continue to get your upgrades as versions come out. While we won't be able to purchase new, or you won't be able to purchase new perpetual licenses of your design suites, there are going to be, you know, next year there'll be a building design suite 2018 and a product design suite 2018 becoming available when the typical upgrade process happens around, you know, April next year. So that's how they're going to be upgraded. I hope that answers your question. No. So Resvan's also asked about cross-grading from premium to ultimate. Once we hit the end of July, we're not going to be able to offer or be able to do any cross-grades between the suites because we won't have access to any additional perpetual licenses. That also goes for people wanting to transfer from a standalone to a network license or a multi-user license. We're not going to be able to do that after the 29th of July. I've unmuted you, Resvan, so if you had any other questions you wanted to ask. No? Okay, so the question seems to be finishing there. So I'll let everybody get back to it. As I said, I'll shoot an email through with the link to this on our YouTube channel once we download and compile everything. And I thank everyone for their time and all the best with it. And if you've got any questions, make sure you call through to your account manager here at Cadgroup, or you can send it through to me as well. So my email address is ascully@cadgroup.com.au if you need to contact me as well. Okay, thanks everybody, and we'll be in touch shortly.